So this is Scott PDX coming at you live from Southwest Portland, Oregon. Today is Saturday, January, about the 25th or so. Good enough. Just taking a little ride on my R1150 GS. I wonder if closing that face shield like I just did makes it a little easier for me to be heard. Hopefully. So I just got done washing the BMW. Still had a lot of bugs encrusted from my last trip back in October, and thought I'd wind dryer. Each time I do that, I get a bunch of little droplets up on my face shield though. Oh man, this bike is fast. You know, I've been riding that KLR 650 too much, and compared to it, this thing's a freaking rocket ship. I'm still loaded up with all my camping gear from a camping trip a couple weeks ago that I bailed out on. I never bothered unloading the bike. And it's still faster than shit. First things first, though. I'm just going to go over here and fill up with gas. I'm not going to take a long ride by any means, but use this as an excuse. The gas station seems kind of full. What do I got here? I guess it's not too bad. Brr, it's cold out here. It's in the 40s. It was a beautiful sunny day, but it's wintertime after all. So what's gas here? $3.39. That's not bad. Which gas pump do I get to use? I'm good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing alright.
Thanks.
Alright, take it easy, man.
You too. Alright, so their job is basically to pump your gas. You notice everybody that pulls in here doesn't have to get out of their vehicle. A gas attendant in Oregon will come up and pump your gas for you. When you're on a motorcycle, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So all they do is hand you the pump. Well, I guess some people want them to pump it, but I don't want them pumping my gas on a motorcycle. Why, you might ask? Because every time I have, they've fucking overflown it and poured gas all over the place. So the gas station situation here in Oregon is kind of funky. You know, they have to pump the gas for you. On a motorcycle, that usually entails giving you the pump. Some people maybe have it filled up by the gas station attendant, but not me. The few times I've had that done, you know, they've overflown the tank. Reminds me, one of the last trips I went on, I have a MSR stove, you know, a little gasoline burning stove, and I carry around a little, what is it, a half-liter bottle or something? It's not a very big bottle. And I pull into the Shell station, and I figure, hey, you know, these guys fill freaking all kinds of tanks and bottles and things all day, every day. You know, they know how to do this. I'll let him fill it up. So I hand him the bottle, say, you know, here, fill this with gas. And so he puts it down on the ground, does his little pump magic, unlocks it, and fucking goes full bore on the gas thing, which takes about a millisecond to fill it up, and shoots gas all over the place. So that wouldn't be bad enough. So in this little half-liter of gas bottle, he puts in a gallon of gas. I have to pay for a gallon of gas, where only a half-liter of it actually made it into my gasoline bottle. So alright, well, that pisses me off a little bit. I'm using regular, and I switch over to premium to fill up this bike. So he's got to close out the ticket and all that. Hey, look at that. So then I take the pump, and I figure, well, fuck, this guy's an idiot. I don't want him pumping anything on mine. So he hands me the pump, and I go to fill up my tank. Well, The gas pump has one of those vacuum things, and of that gallon of gas that I paid for, probably half of it got sucked up into the vacuum system that goes around the nozzle of the tank, of the filler. So when I put it in my tank and then I go to fill up my tank, it shoots all that gas. It got sucked up into the vacuum, so I get a half gallon of gas fucking all over the bike, all over me. I just look at the guy, you know, you freaking idiot. You think that's your job to fill up gas? You think you could do it right? So anyways, ever since then, I don't let him touch any of my vehicles. Yeah, I take it back. When it's cold out and rainy out, sure, I let him do it. I'll let the gas monkey fill up my truck. My other truck's a diesel. I got two trucks, a town truck and a work truck. The work truck's a diesel, big Ford F-350 7.3 liter, big old sumbitch. And the funny thing about the gas law here in Oregon is if it's a diesel, you can pump it on your own. Let me tell you, it's so much nicer to pump your own gas. You pull in, I don't gotta talk to nobody, I don't gotta depend on somebody not to fuck it all up. I would much rather put my own gas in. Do a lot of riding up into Washington, you can pump your own gas up there. I think Oregon and like Vermont or some other backward state makes you have to pump your own gas. I couldn't even tell you what. People always ask me, well, what's the reason? I have no idea. I mean, maybe somebody set themselves on fire at one point. That's a rant. I don't normally rant. I'm not a ranter. Rant off. Oh, look at this beautiful day. Can you believe it? I'm running in Levi's, which I never do. No heated gear. Got street gloves on even. And I'm not freezing cold. Alright, I do have my heated grips running. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in the city. I got dinner plans here in an hour or so, I don't have really any big epic ride to do today. So what should I do? What should I do? Where should I go? With no time to go. I think I'll turn here. Maybe we'll run over to the BMW shop. I saw on Craigslist they had a K1300S that they took in on trade. They've had it actually for a while. I got a BMW motorcycle history book for Christmas. I was reading it the other day on the shitter and read up about that bike a little bit. This happens to be in the section that I was reading. Sounds like an interesting bike. There's a setting on it to where you set your weight and whether or not you're running with luggage or with a passenger with luggage, and it dials in the suspension for you based on what you enter. And that just sounds really cool. And all kinds of other doodads and thingamajigs to make it an awesome bike. I have no money to buy a bike like that, and I think they want 10 grand for it, which is probably not bad considering I think it was probably 20 grand when it came out 10 years ago, but still, I want to sit on it, look at it, coddle it a little bit perhaps. But mainly I just want to get out and blow dry my bike off and enjoy just a little bit of nice weather. So, what else is going on? Well, got plans to go ride my KTM tomorrow up in the woods. That's right, an actual ride outside of the city. Got somebody meeting me over at my house early first thing in the morning. Then we're going to meet up at Coleman's. For those of you that are local, know Coleman's out by Gales Creek. It's a good place to meet other riders for meetup area. Hopefully there'll be a couple other folks from ADV that show up. I know for a fact there'll be a couple of people. I'll talk to them. We're just going to ride the trails up at Brown's Camp. I'll try to take the camera along if I get my crap together tonight, which is probably what I should be doing instead of riding my motorcycle. But this is so much more fun! Whee! I really should watch it. It's like 25 through here. 50? That's not bad. So I'm heading over to the BMW Tiger shop. They're probably only open for a half hour, but what the heck. It's right over in Tigard, Oregon, which is just down the hill from where I live. I live behind me, actually, uphill behind me. This was, I went through Garden Home there a few minutes ago. Now this is called Metzger. I'm sure these are all just little burgs. I don't know if Metzger is part of Portland or part of Tigard or what. Honestly, I don't even know what it is. I mean, it's this intersection right here. At one point, I'm sure it was a little town out in the country. But now it's just an area of the big metro area of Portland. Probably more beaver. Oh look, I'm entering Tigard, so there you go. So where was I if I wasn't in Tigard? So that must be Portland. Metzger must be Portland, and this side of Metzger is not. So there you go. Whee. So this bike's got 28,000 miles on it. I bought it with 22,000 miles on it. About, what has it been, a year and a half ago, maybe? So that's not too bad. I mostly use it for bigger trips, but lately I've been kind of toying with pulling the bags off it and use it more for city riding also, or sport bike riding. You know, it's a sport tourer bike more than it is an adventure bike. I mean, this is not the GS or GSA. This is just a R1150 GS. It's a 2000 model. It doesn't have the extra suspension height that comes on the GSA, which is probably good because I'm a little, I don't want to say height challenge, but 5'10", whatever that means. But when I've sat on GSAs with the full suspension, everything dialed out, they're too tall. They're too tall. This bike is just right for me. And let me tell you, I'm loving the seat. I've only ridden on this seat just one other time, and so far it feels pretty good. It's a bit of an old man seat. I mean, it's got wings. But hey, you know, I guess some people, maybe I am an old man. I don't know, am I an old man? When I was 18, I would have thought I was an old man, but when I was 30, I wouldn't have thought I was an old man, and when I turned 40, I certainly didn't feel like an old man, so who cares? Call it what you will, it's a comfortable seat. So for the past 2 weeks I've been farting around with this helmet camera trying to get it level. I'm hoping that now you are seeing a level view, because I've only taken the camera off and mounted it about 6 freaking times. You'd think that it would be easy. Oh, looks like they're closed. Maybe they close at 4:30 on Saturday. Whatever it is, they're closed. That's alright. I want to go in there anyways. I got no money to spend. Whee! So that's the BMW Tiger shop. Be curious to hear how this bike here sounds on the video. It has a lot of clicking and valve train noise that I've noticed on this bike. More so than any other bike that I have. So much so that after I bought it, I took it into a good tech that I know down in Dundee. Steve Prokoff of Bavarian Motorworks is an excellent BMW mechanic. And took it down there, and he hops on it, you know, almost taking for a test ride to see what I'm talking about. He comes back with a grin on his face and says, "Man, that bike pulls great." And I asked him, "Well, what about the noise I'm hearing on there?" And he's, "Oh, well, get a better helmet." This guy's in my way, so let's just take care of that. So, evidently the bike is plenty strong and running just fine. It's just BMW noises. I think the issue is that with these boxer motors, you know, the cylinder is just right out there. I mean, look at that cylinder. And you just hear what's going on in it a lot more. You know, the valve covers are not the thickest valve covers in the world. You know, these ones especially, they're magnesium. And so you just hear what's going on a lot more. There's also not, you know, it's not water cooled, so you don't have a water jacket all around the cylinder. It's just everything's a lot closer to your ear. I do notice that when I put her in overdrive, like I just did just then, that most of the clicking goes away. It's only a lower RPM. I thought for sure it was the rockers are opened up a little bit, or the valves or something, but they're all within spec. You know, I do my own work on this. It's, you know, the valve check on these boxer engines is just easier to crap. I mean, that's a valve cover sticking out there in the end, and you take that off and boom, valves are right there. You don't got to take a fairing off or nothing. Of course, I've got these crash bars. You got to take them off, but that's no big deal. Oh, I should have gone straight. That would have been a more fun ride. Oh well. Oh well. I wanted to open it up on the freeway anyways. So, and I say I do all my own work on it, but I mean, there's some things I wouldn't take. And, you know, when I took it into Steve down there, he didn't charge me or nothing. He said, you know, it sounds like a BMW sounds, you know, don't worry about it. And I haven't. That was probably 5,000 miles ago. I do the basic maintenance on them. You know, if something really major happened on it where I had to split the cases, you know, that obviously is way beyond my skills. But, you know, it's funny, I asked the guy, Steve, you know, what happens if, you know, you got major problems in there? You know, he gave me a few symptoms that could possibly be what I was explaining, although none of them sounded like what his experience said they were. And they would be more catastrophic. It wouldn't be running like it's running if it was one of those issues. But he said, you know, on these, you know, you blow the timing chain or something like that and have to crack the cases. He says it's not worth it. On this bike, you know, there was enough of these out there that just buy another motor, put it in. It would not be cheap, but evidently cracking the cases on these things is, I can't remember the number of hours that he said, but it was a lot, 40 or something like that. And at that point, you're better off buying a different motor and put it in. It was the gist of his answer. So, hopefully that won't happen. It's funny, these bikes, they have hundreds of thousands of miles on it, so at that moment I don't need any of that kind of crap done. Well, this isn't going to be much of an interstate run if I can't get on the interstate. Plus, it's busy. I'll take another route. We'll take another route. But it's funny, most of the miles that I have on this bike have been with loaded camping gear on it. I haven't used it that much for just around the town runner and such. You know, I've got that KLR 650 that for the street miles and for parking it downtown where people touch it and stuff. I'd rather leave it down there than run this GS down there. But I think I need to take all the bags off it and play around with it a little bit as not a hooligan bike, but, you know, see how it runs without any weight in it. I bet it fucking runs like great. Like some analogy that's not coming to me right now. Some simile or whatever that's called. Like a bullet out of a goose's ass. No, that's not right. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like rocket diarrhea. Projectile vomiting. I bet it runs like projectile vomiting, you know, fast. Just flies out. I don't know. Maybe it just runs good. How about that? Just runs good. But the other thing I wanted to do today was kind of test this seat out a little bit. And granted, it's not a long ride I'm doing here, but boy, this seat feels good. This will be my 4th seat for this bike. You know, since I've been using it more as a touring bike, the longer distance comfort has been an issue. So the stock seat that came with it was just crap, I tell you. I would do what I did. It was so soft that it felt great for the first 5 minutes, and then it was torture. So then what did I get? So then I did a Seat Concepts and reupholstered the stock pan with the Seat Concepts one, and it's, I've done the Seat Concepts on pretty much almost every other bike I have, and I've been happy with it, but the cut of the Seat Concepts for this particular bike, it was just too dished out, and it would lock you into one position. Although that position had wider buns and firmer foam, it was good, but since it was a low position on it, my knees would just get all cramped up, like a sport bike kind of cramped up. So I suffered with that for a while, and then I came across a Corbin on Craigslist, a front and a rear Corbin with a backrest, and boy, it was comfortable. Sitting on that thing it's very comfortable. Problem with it is it leans back just a little bit, and it kind of puts, by leaning back, it kind of puts a little bit more of a bend in my spine, and it was not real comfortable. Plus, it's a very high seat. There's a lot of support underneath my thighs down here, but when it comes to a stop, it was high. It was easy I almost fell over a number of times riding with that thing. The backrest was wonderful, though, let me tell you, on a freeway. And I'm keeping that seat for now. I may sell it. We'll see how this one works out on longer trips. But the backrest was awesome. So I struggled with that for a while. Plus the seat pan on the thing, that's a heavy freaking seat. I mean, it's 10 pounds a seat, more than my other ones. So at the BMW rally, which was in Salem this year, I picked up a Sargent. And it is a good seat. It's nice and light. But the seat pan on it, I have found, was almost too flimsy. I mean, there's a lot moving around on the seat. I could feel the whole pan kind of flex around. But the foam's in the right place, and it's kind of a sport bikey seat, and it's fine. I'll probably keep it too. We'll see. I don't know. I shouldn't keep all these seats. They're expensive. But this popped up on Craigslist recently, and it's a Russell Daylong. I've heard such good things about him that I went down to check it out, and I wasn't going to buy it, and I really can't afford another seat, and blah, 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 whatever. But I tried it, and it was awesome. It felt so good just sitting on it at 9 o'clock at night on this parking lot. Turns out that I knew the guy that was selling it, and he was going to give the proceeds to another guy I know whose kid has got some problems, and was going to use the proceeds to send him to the Mayo Clinic, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I bought the seat regardless of whether it was comfortable or not. So, anyways, those are my BMW seats. This one looks like it's a winner. So this is Scott PDX. Thanks for joining me. Y'all have a good night.